straight out to Kathy Bellich for WFTV in court today. Kathy, what happened?
Well, there were a couple of different incidents between the defense and the prosecution. It usually was sparked by a comment that Jose Baez would make in court about the case that the prosecutor didn't think was appropriate. At one point, he even accused prosecutors indirectly of leaking things to the media, so he asked the judge to tell prosecutors to keep what they discussed behind closed doors private. That angered the prosecutor because that's a no-brainer, I guess, in his mind, and felt that they were questioning the prosecutor's ethics. The judge got fed up in the end. There was a little bit of taunting going on even between Baez, eventually smirking at the prosecutor after realizing he got upset over the comment.
You know what? Baez better stop the smirking. Back to Steve Helling, writer with People magazine, on the story from the very beginning. Steve Helling, you were in court today. What did you observe?
Well, what I saw was George and Cindy Anthony arrived at court. They smiled at Casey. Casey smiled back. And then, you know, there were some fireworks going on. Prosecution, defense, kind of going at each other. And finally, the judge just said, you know what, I'm tired of this. This isn't going to happen. And it's not going to happen in his courtroom. He's not going to let it happen.
To Drew Petrimo, well, you know what? It had already happened. That's a day late and a dollar short. Drew Petrimo, WDBO. Drew, this is what I don't understand. It seems to me everybody is like an ostrich. They've got their head in the sand and their butt in the air. We already have been told that over $250,000 have been made off Kelly's murder. Now that money had to go somewhere, all right? So if it didn't go to Top Mom, where did it go? And is it being funneled to the defense? Did anybody think, ding ding, to ask that in court today?
Well, the prosecution wanted them to define what story means. While they said that she might not be selling her future story, do pictures and licensing count? That answer wasn't, that question wasn't answered in court. They did
I'm sorry, I couldn't
behind
hear
closed
you,
doors.
Drew. I couldn't hear you. That question, what?
What I was going to say is they went behind closed doors. They talked for about 7 minutes. The judge came out and he said that he was satisfied that there was no conflict of interest. As whether that question was answered behind closed doors, we won't know, and it seems like we're not going to find out what they talked about behind that closed door.
Out to Andy Kahn, director of the Crime Victims Assistance Division there in Houston, Texas, a champion for victims' rights. Liz, let's see how much money on that full screen we believe they've made so far. Andy, we already know over $250,000 paid allegedly by networks for interviews about this story.
Yeah, Nancy, I mean, she's a ready-made stimulus package for Baez and the other miscreants that are looking at her like a big cash cow. And I think you're delusional to think what might not be sold as a story today doesn't preclude it from happening in the future. There's going to be some big money deals coming out of this.